Hello and welcome to Barcelona for MWC 2025, where we're going to discuss mainframe modernization with our guests here at the AWS Studio. We are joined by Riki Efraim-Lederman, President, Amdocs Studios at Amdocs, and Namrata Sharma, mainframe modernization go-to-market worldwide leader. Thank you for joining us.
Hello. Hey, Charlotte.
Thank you for having us here. Good to see you again, Riki.
Same here.
So first of all, what is mainframe modernization and why do we need it and why now?
Great question, Riki. Go ahead.
So, there are so many, we are talking about tech, right? So there are so many systems with telco, but also with many, many industries that are still in a mainframe platforms. Many applications, right? We are here talking about AI, talking about a cloud, but there are so many applications still reside with mainframe. And modernized systems, so it's not new topic, right, on the table. We are talking about that for many, many years already. But why now, right? You ask why now. We see so many things keep changing, and mainframe stayed as it is because it's really risky and long process to move those applications that reside with so many years to a different platform. But the why now, to me, come with 3 dimensions, and maybe Namrata, you will be able to add more. I will start with the agility, right? Like there are so many things happening these days with the tech that the existing system need to integrate and comply with many, many new things that are coming over. And it becomes more and more difficult to keep up the pace and the changes and the technology that is needed. So like the ability and agility to do things become more and more tougher on the existing mainframe platform. And second is about the skills and the people, right? We are talking for so many years that, we have skilled people of mainframe, but they are retiring because we know the young population doesn't acquire these skills, right? They are all already in the new tech, and it's unbelievable, but it's very hard to maintain those systems with the current skill. I don't know if you know that only 60% of the open position in the mainframe are being fulfilled. There are many positions that it's very hard to fulfill them with the skills. And of course, with that goes the cost and the ability, mainframe cost continuously increase, right? And comparing to the alternative, right? We talk about cloud, you talk about alternative. With that come the security compliance and more. I don't know, Namrata, if you want to add more.
Absolutely, great points, and to add to what Riki said. If we were to just look at what mainframe modernization is, it's basically 2 things. It's taking legacy mainframe applications and modernizing them to a modern application architecture. It can be done onto the cloud and preferably AWS, but there's some aspect of on mainframe modernization too. And then it's also taking the mainframe data and moving it to cloud so our customers have access to these advanced tools, analytics tools, that they can use to run insights. Now, the big question that you asked, and Riki answered it really well, why now? The biggest reason, yes, costs. I mean, when mainframe software vendors increase their prices, our CIOs, our customer CIOs are not happy, right? It's hard for them to manage OpEx costs. Yes, there is a severe shortage of skilled resources. I usually love to ask people, hey, raise your hand if you know COBOL programming. And so far, nobody's ever raised a hand because it's that old, right? There's, of course, the security and compliance issues. These are monolithic applications that were designed and built years ago and have spread like a spider web. So they really do not comply with today's modern architecture, today's InfoSec compliance requirements, and so forth. But the biggest reason, like Riki said, business outcomes, agility, right? If I cannot deploy my applications quickly, if I cannot adjust to what my competition is doing, if I cannot adjust to what my customers need, I am losing out on really coming up with the latest and greatest to stay relevant. And that's why our customers are jumping on this right now. And, that's I would say, a short answer to the why.
Yeah.
So the why is pretty clear, the why, the urgency as well. Next, Riki, I was wondering if you could tell us what Amdocs' strategy is for mainframe modernization, especially in relation to your acquisition of Astadia.
Right. So we have Astadia with Amdocs for more than a year. And Astadia has an amazing set of tools of doing a code modernization. So taking an old, relatively old type of mainframe code and modernize it and refactor it to the new technology and re-platforms. But on top of that, like doing the automated testing, right? Making sure that everything that used to work in the past with the old code continues to work in the new code, new platform, and taking the data into that. So the acquisition of Astadia really brought those type of tools. But with Amdocs, it's way broader because we in Amdocs knows to take this complex program, and there is a complexity, right? All our customer, the risk of taking that, you need to have something that is bigger than just doing the code modernization. Is really the ability to look on the application and sometimes re-platform and already doing an application development, remodernizing the application itself. On top of that, doing the overall testing, right? It's so much important to our customer to make sure that it's integrated and testing well with the new ecosystem. And sometimes, because we are talking on relatively legacy type of application, take that into the managed services. So Astadia, with those Amdocs capabilities, application development, doing an overall testing, doing the overall integration, and potentially do the managed services, this is like a perfect match. And together with the partnership that we have with AWS, so taking that, of course, to the cloud, that becomes an amazing, appealing joint offering. So I think the picture now is so much broader and bringing in one end the value, but also, this ownership of really doing the job, delivering it. And this is like we are so much known on doing that. And in such a complex program, the combination, Astadia, Amdocs, and AWS becomes really appealing.
The AAA of success.
Right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
What about telco customers in particular here? What challenges are they encountering with mainframe modernization, and how can you help them?
So AWS has been doing mainframe modernization for the last 3 years, and we've succeeded in various verticals, various industries like financial services, insurance, automotive. But the telco customers are unique. While the underlying layer for mainframe and mainframe application is pretty much the same, from a telco perspective, when you look at something as simple as the OSS BSS systems, right? These are essential billing systems in a telco environment running on mainframes, right? This is where, with the advent of 5G, different business models, the ability to really modernize code, mainframe modernization becomes essentially important. And Amdocs, being a domain leader as a services partner in the telco world, really brings in that perspective of how to really detangle the spider web of mainframe applications in the entire telco system. Now, we've worked with Astadia in the past for mainframe modernization, and now Amdocs coming in, providing that domain. So I have to agree with Riki, it's AWS, Amdocs, and Astadia. It's a great combination to help the telco customers.
So do you have any success stories to share with us on this?
Well, yeah. I will not name the name of the customer, but it's a tier 1 customer from North America, very significant customer of ours, and AWS. Yeah. And they are working with us to the journey of modernizing their mainframe application, and it's huge. And it's exactly emphasize everything that I said, that with Astadia, Amdocs, and AWS, it's like the bigger picture, because it's not only about migrating hundreds of applications, it's about taking the application, modernize the application itself, Of course, doing the end-to-end integration and testing and taking that to the managed services. And of course, it goes to AWS as a cloud. And it's this joint effort that really enable this customer of ours and AWS to really say, okay, I'm going into this journey of modernizing hundreds of applications and taking them to the cloud. By the way, they started this journey with just like few hundred of applications, and now they want to accelerate and move many more. So it's really an important story for many telco like that now can really see this as a use case and go and modernize their existing mainframe platform.
Yeah, and during this journey, all the good work that Amdocs has been doing, the customer is also seeing the value of these applications on the cloud, right? As they're deploying newer billing models, newer charging models, and so forth. So it's been a great success story. We can't wait for it to be a public reference so we can actually share the name.
Yeah.
No conversation here at MWC without mentioning GenAI in particular. So what role do you see GenAI playing in mainframe modernization? How will you harness its mighty power?
So GenAI is the best thing that happens in sliced bread for mainframe modernization. That's how I like to put it. Mainframe modernization takes a long time because you have to know these are resilient systems that have been in our customers' data centers for generations, right? And in telco, every decade is multiple generations, right? GenAI really comes in and reduces that entire mainframe modernization phase from years to months, from months to days. And with the launch of AWS Q for Mainframe Transform, we have proven this with our customers using this agentic AI framework, where all the customers have to do is put their big picture goals, and GenAI really through the phases helps them analyze, document, decompose, plan, and finally refactor with either an in-house solution or Astadia.
For Amdocs as well, right? Like looking on GenAI and having it embedded in the processes from the discovery up until the validation of the system that really goes well in the cloud, in the re-platform architecture. Like GenAI can reduce time, as Namrata said, but also reduce the risk. Because doing a mainframe modernization, really, it's about like the risk, right? This is why for so many years it didn't change. And the ability to use more and more GenAI into that enable those two. Reducing the time, but also reducing the risk and making sure that it will work well. So just like as an example, okay, I will start from there and from testing, that it's so important for our customer to see that the system continue and function as they need to, right? So the ability to do so many things now with GenAI and prove that the testing is really, you test exactly the same things as the past is one. But of course, everything around modernizing the platform and the code, there are so many amazing GenAI capabilities that we are already applying into the tool to enable doing it really faster and more reliable. So it's an amazing thing to this domain that is really risk averse, right? Making sure that we do it right and do not impact the business.
Yeah, I want to add to that here. So we've had customers that started mainframe modernization a few years ago, right? But they were doing it in stages, like let me modernize 20 applications this year, I'll do 20 more. But what they realized was that their mainframe usage was not coming down. With GenAI coming, especially Q for Mainframe Transform, customers can reimagine their entire mainframe modernization journey. So they can say, listen, over the course of next 5 years, I want to change my mainframe landscape. And this is where GenAI comes in and gives them a very prescriptive path to do that, right? Where they're actually seeing their mainframe utilization reduce, their modernized applications really providing those business outcomes, which was the reason why they signed up for it the first time around.
So to wrap up, what's key here when it comes to mainframe modernization? And maybe what's the key word?
I would say partnership, using the right cloud and the right execution partner, and doing it together.
Fully agree. I think this is the key, the partnership to really reduce the risk coming with mainframe modernization.
Well, Riki and Namrata, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us here at MWC 2025.